Hi there, this is Mathia Ford with Renal Diet HQ, and today I'm coming to you to talk about renal diet recipes again and making casseroles. So, something that's really easy to put together and freeze ahead of time are casseroles that you can then take out and put in the oven and make for an hour or so. And you've got a full meal because you have a starch or a pasta and your vegetables and your meat, and it's all put together in one dish. So you just add a salad or you add a little soup next to it and you're good to go. So I wanted to talk about how you can kind of make your own casserole recipes because I think it's fun to use the ones we can find, but I also think, what if you have 5 or 6 things in your refrigerator and you're like, I'd like to make a casserole? I know that just never occurs really usually. So you're able to eat, based on how much your kidney disease is. So you're able to eat a certain amount of protein. That's where you probably want to be the most concerned, depending on if you have a phosphorus or potassium restriction. But pre-dialysis, you're going to try to go for like a half a gram of protein per kilo. So, if you weigh 75 kilos, which is about 160 pounds, then 75 kilos. So then you're going for about, now I got to add and figure this out, about 35 to 40 grams of protein a day. So you're going to try to get just 1 or 2 ounces of meat per serving. So think of your casserole dish, and depending on how big it is, how big is your portion that you're going to want to have? Because your biggest concern is protein. So if you're going to say, for example, you got like a 9x9 casserole dish, and you're going to cut it into fourths. So if you're going for about 2 ounces of protein per section, that's 2 times 4 is 8 ounces of protein. 8 ounces of ground beef, 8 ounces of beef or chicken shredded, or beans count as protein as well. So that's your biggest part of the recipe that you're concerned about. Get that out of the way, figure out how much meat you're going to put into it. And then the next step is to add chopped vegetables. So you're thinking about low potassium, high potassium, or not. So if you're not on a potassium or phosphorus restriction, you put tomatoes in there if you want. You put, citrus if you feel like it. If you are, then you watch and, you're trying for green beans or peas or trying to think like zucchini, peppers, onions, those types of things. Put those in there. You're going to put in starchy rice or like noodles. So whole grain pasta. You could even use biscuits if you'd like, just put biscuits on top. Biscuits can be kind of salty, so you got to watch that. But so you're putting your meat in there, your vegetables, and your pasta. Some sort of liquid. So I just came out, I'll be on September 7th, you'll have a low sodium vegetable broth that you could put in there with it, and you could make a vegetarian lasagna or casserole if you like, because you'd have vegetable broth, you'd have noodles, and you'd have just veggies and maybe some beans. You could put some cheese, a little bit of crackers, maybe some chopped nuts, which are good for you, have healthy fats in them. Mix it all together. So you just looked in your fridge and you're like, I have some peppers and onions and zucchini and broccoli, and I have some beans in the fridge, and I also have some rice. So you put that all together, add a little bit of vegetable broth, and you're off to the races. Mix it up and bake it for about 30 to 45 minutes at about 350 degrees. So obviously with noodles, or rice, you're gonna have pre-cooked them. They're gonna absorb some more of that, like vegetable broth or whatever you put in there. So you can undercook them slightly so they continue to absorb that and not get like really yucky and soggy. So today I just wanted to give you a quick guide to doing like your own casserole. Obviously, this is how most casseroles are made. A lot of people just add things together. So if you were doing like a Mexican type casserole, you could add some cumin, a little bit of cayenne, a little bit of garlic powder, onion powder, and a little bit of maybe fajita meat, and then you could layer it with tortillas, add a little of liquid in there. So you could do a little bit of the broth or juice to kind of give it some sogginess together to kind of make it mesh. You could use rice. Rice would be excellent in a Mexican or that type of meal. But just do that. Try it out. You know, if you make a casserole with that small like 9x9 pan, you cut it into 4 portions. If it's just you and one other person, then you take that other half and you either eat it the next day or you freeze it. So you can freeze that dish. You can freeze, what I like to do is put like a layer of plastic in there, in the dish, freeze it in the dish, and then you can pop it out of the dish with the plastic and stick it in a little like Ziploc bag. Then when it's time to cook it, you pop it out, take the plastic wrap off, and you're ready to go. Put it in the dish and cook it. So then you're not storing your dishes, and you're not having to thaw it beforehand to get it into the dish. That's what I love about that flexibility. So try those types of things. The other things you can do is have some like dishes, like plasticware that's about the same size as your casserole dish, and freeze in that. Do the same thing, pop it out. Make sure you do a little bit of pan spray on that plastic wrap so it's easy to get off, because you don't want to cook plastic. It doesn't taste very good. So have a great day. Head on over to renaldiethq.com, and at the top of the page there's 4 buttons. You pick if you're pre-dialysis, if you have diabetes, or you are on dialysis, or you just want more information. And please share this video and give me some comments below and let me know. I got 2 more days, and let me know what you'd like to hear about. Thank you.